Hey guys, Mr. Backerberg here. In this video, we're going to look at numerical models. So a mathematical model is any sort of mathematical structure that helps us approximate real-world phenomena so that we can use that to study or predict behavior of that phenomena. And there's different types of modeling that we can use. There's numerical modeling, there's algebraic modeling, and there's graphical modeling. Now for this video specifically, we're going to focus on numerical models. So when we're looking at a numerical model, we're looking at numbers or data in a table, and we can use that to help us gain some insight into whatever phenomena we're looking at. So in this first example, we're looking at hourly minimum wage. So we can see that table on the left-hand side. The far left column, we're looking at specific years, so from 1955 all the way up to 2015, and that's increasing every 5 years. The second column is the actual hourly minimum wage in that specific year. And then the third column is taking that hourly wage and adjusting it for inflation, so the purchasing power in 2015 dollar amounts. So the first thing we're asked to look at is in what 5-year period did the actual minimum hourly wage increase the most? So we should be looking at that second column of values. And we're looking for where the biggest increase was. Well, if we look between 1955 and 1960, it went up by 25 cents. Then we went up by 25 cents again. So we should be looking for a large increase in the values that we're dealing with. Between 1975 and 1980, we increased $1. If we go a little bit further down, I'm looking between 2005 and 2010. In 2005, the hourly wage was $5.15, but then in 2010 it increased to $7.25. That's a pretty big jump. That's $2.10. So that's going to be the largest increase there. In this second part, we're looking at greatest purchasing power. So we're going to be focusing on that third column, and we're trying to figure out in what year did a worker have the greatest purchasing power? So we're just looking for the largest number in that third column. So if we investigate those numbers a little bit, it looks like here in 1970, they were getting $9.74 worth of 2015 money there. In this last part, it says that a worker on the minimum hourly wage in 1980 was earning almost twice as much as a worker from 1970. But there was a lot of social pressure in order to raise the minimum hourly wage, and we want to figure out why. So if we look at 1970, they were getting $1.60 per hour, and then if we look at 1980, that increased to $3.10. So again, that's almost double, but people still wanted the minimum wage increased. And what we need to look at is that purchasing power in our 2015 dollars. In 1970, that $1.60 was worth about $9.74 in 2015. But if we look at 1980, that actually decreased. So even though the minimum wage itself went up, purchasing power actually went down by 85 cents. And anytime purchasing power goes down, that's when people really look at increasing that minimum wage. And if we look a little bit further down the table, well, $7.25 in 2015 was worth $7.25. So we've lost almost $2.50 worth of purchasing power as we look at 1970 compared to 2015. So when you hear people say money isn't worth what it used to be, it really isn't. In this example, what we're looking at is the number of commissioned officers in the U.S. Army. And what we want to look at is the proportion of female officers versus male officers to see if that's increasing over time. So as we're looking at this table, again, we've got years going from 1965 up to 2015. We've got the total amount of commissioned officers. Now, these numbers are represented in thousands. So this doesn't mean that there's 102 total officers. This means 102,000. Here, there was 144,000. Now, we've got gender breakdowns in here, the total number of male officers and then female officers. Now, looking at those numbers specifically, it doesn't really tell us if that proportion is increasing over time. Because not only is the number of female officers changing, the total number of officers is changing. So we actually want to take this information that we're given and dig a little bit deeper. So we're actually going to take this and look at the percentage of female officers. So in order to figure out the percentage for 1965, we would have to take the number of female officers. So again, that's 4, but again, that's representing thousands. So 4,000 officers divided by the total number, so that's 102. When we do that, that works out to about 0.039. But we're looking at a percentage, so we want to take this decimal and slide it a couple places over. So this works out to about 3.9%. If we do the next one, taking that 6 divided by the 144, that works out to about 4.2%. Then I'm going to go ahead and fill out the rest of this table by just continually taking the female number divided by the total number and then converting that into a percent. Okay, so if we look at the percentage of female officers, starting in 1965, it was 3.9%. Then we jumped up to 4.2, then 5.6, then 8.2. So we can see as we're moving along this table up to 2015, it was almost 19% of officers. So we can see as we're going through time, there is a steady increase in the percentage of female officers. So as far as that proportion, yes, it is increasing over time. That's going to be it for this video. Thanks for watching.